Recording started. So, very good evening, everyone. I am Nikhil Kumar, and I'm doing PhD in Computational Material Science at University of Vienna, Germany. And today I would like to request Dr. Sanjay Kumar Singh, the founder president of Association of Indian Physicists, to kindly chair today's session. Please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, dear Nikhil. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Sanjay, as working as assistant professor in the Department of Physics, SD College, Barnala, Punjab. So, apart from this, I'm serving voluntarily in Association of Indian Physicists (AIP) to support young minds of the nation. Respected today's speaker, Ms. Sujatha ma'am, AIP Council members, and enthusiastic AIPians. On behalf of EIP and GS Foundation, I heartily welcome you all in today's talk. It is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Ms. Sujatha ma'am, a dedicated innovative researcher from CSIR-CECRI. Ms. Sujatha work focuses on carbon quantum dots, a special type of nanomaterials. Her research is truly cutting edge. We are very fortunate to have Ms. Sujatha here today to share her latest findings and insights on these innovative materials. So I'm sure her talk will offer us all valuable knowledge and inspiration. So thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation to deliver a talk on our AIP platform. So without taking much time, I request Madam Sujatha to kindly share your knowledge with us. Thank you once again for joining us. Over to Sujatha, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the nice introduction. Thank you for this opportunity to AIP. And still, we need to go more. Okay, let us start now. Am I
Yes,
audible,
ma'am.
sir?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Thank you for this opportunity you have provided for me. Thank you, first of all, thank you to Association of Indian Physicists. And today's talk based on functionalized carbon quantum dots and heteroatom doping for enhanced electrochemical and energy storage application. And let me move to first slide. We all know that carbon quantum dots, it's a zero-dimensional nanomaterial which is useful for electrochemical energy storage devices as well sensing applications. It 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 is below 10 nanometer and it is eco-friendly and it has excellent chemical stability, and the tuning of CQD is also possible to do according to the applications, and it's a discrete and non-toxic. As all know that CQD is having strong absorption and biocompatible and electron transfer eco-friendly, and it has the properties of electrocatalysis and size controllable, and it can able to do the passivation and functionalization and quantum dot heterogeneity and biosensing. Do the slides moving?
No, ma'am. Are you on first slide?
No, second slide.
No, I think on. No, it's not moving. Please make it in presentation mode. Yeah, now it is visible, but make it in presentation mode.
I kept it in presentation mode, but it's not working, I think.
I think you have to share entire screen. Please reshare the screen.
Now, okay,
Yeah,
sir.
now, yeah, now
Okay,
it's fine, ma'am.
okay. Thank you so much. And as we know that carbon conductors having so many properties, it's having peculiar and which is giving corresponding to the applications, we can change it out, that unique property. It also applicable for electrocatalysis, electrochemical activity, and surface passivation and functionalization. And it has various types of synthesis protocols. It having as being a nanomaterial, it has top-down approach, and it also can makeable by bottom-up approach. It's simple, very top-down approach. It's a bulk material. From there, we have to break it out into a pieces, and if it is a bottom-up approach, we construct it. And carbon quantum dot having this one part synthesis surface treatment, and it has chiral assembly, and it can be useful. We can see this we can see this image that which is has already functionalized. We can do COOH, OH functionalize, and the NH2 according to the application. We can change it out, and this is known as this doping. The second image which I'm keeping the arrow. This is known as for which is the excitation and the emission happening at this 340 nanometer getting excitation and 445 getting emission. Not only for this exact wavelength, it also varies according to the material. And by using the synthesis protocol, bottom up and top down approach, we can use this arc discharge, electrochemical oxidation, chemical oxidation, laser ablation, template method, and pyrolysis, microwave, hydrothermal. As we all know that things, and we here I'm doing synthesis by using microwave, hydrothermal, and pyrolysis ultrasonication method, and it has this surface states. It's a like a direct band gap, indirect band gap. According to having the functional group in it, we will take that surface state and core state. And this one shows these COOH, CO inverse to functionalize, which is with according to surface states, it's getting um, uh, the sharing the which corresponds to band gap, and then synthesis and characterization protocol, as I already mentioned, and also this carbon quantum dots having this surface functionalization, which is shown in a blue image, which is outside the functionalization gets takes place, and surface passivation it's inside the carbon quantum dots, and it is known as sp2 and sp3 combination of sp2 and sp3 hybridization. And by simple method, we can use this glucose as a carbon precursor. We can take it as carbon precursor, anything we can take. Here I took glucose with distilled water, very easy synthesis to do. Then we can keep it for stirring for some time. Then we can make it by 2 or 3 minutes. Within 2 minutes, we can get carbon quantum dots by using microwave synthesis method. And after that, we have to do this centrifuge, and we have to collect the product by using drying method. I used to take output by in a powder method. Then we can use whenever we can utilize this one. And also green synthesis also applicable here. Apple juice used um, as a precursor, and hydrothermal for 120 degree 40 minutes. And after centrifuging, the centrifuge also playing a role, because it's even though cleaning, it also breaking a particle. So 3000 rpm is giving another emission wavelength, and 10,000 rpm giving the red emission. Maybe the size, when the size increases, this VGR also the emission also difference. So then after sonication is one of the method. And then why and how why we are doing the heteroatom and halogen doping into the system, into the carbon quantum dots, and how we have to do that one. Usually heteroatoms simply nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, like that we can do. and halogen doping, fluorine, chlorine, uh, like that we can do. This functionalization also play a role for this electrochemical sensing application, surface functionalization, and we can also do by polymer or a matrix formation. This CQD is doping with heteroatoms. It shows where according to this doping, it gets according to the heteroatoms present in it, it gets the luminescence properties differing with one another. And this carbon quantum dots having this optical properties, low toxicity and water soluble photoluminescence property and tunable size and biocompatibility. Here we can see this UV range to visible near NIR. Here visible region we can see this 450 around 450 nanometer we can obtain this blue emission of CQD and 500 green color and yellow then red around 700 that range we can observe this red CQD. Then the mechanism of making this one is homolumo region. In that one, core state, and from here to core state, and then edge state also plays a role when doing doping and all. It plays a role, and end related surface. I will come to next time. Then challenges and research directions. We have to optimize the we have to optimize the CQD for electrochemical mechanisms and the synthesis and long-term stability hybrid system. And while increasing the size of the conjugator, according to this, n domains also changes. This according to the size rate shift in the emission. When size increases, the emission will be changes to redshift. Then energy band gap gets reduced. This is the mechanism. Then increasing the degree of surface states also the playing a role. When we are doping the system, it gets a defect state. According to this defect state, it gets in the band gap gets reduced. The last image shows when compared to this blue color, we can see the transition of n domains and um, when it is a intrinsic and it has no doping, it gets when homo one when gets atom electron gets excited and then it comes to this region. Then if it is we are doping this NCQD, N or NH2 functionalized, it has in pyrrolic, pyridinic, and NH2 various states of surface states. Then we have lot of application with this CQD. CQD. It has the properties of structural, optical, magnetic, and electronic, and it can be useful for drug delivery, biosensor, EMI shielding, energy storage, fuel cell, photocatalysis, phototherapy, solar cell, antibacterial, so many applications. And while talking about doping, we can do this hydrogenous and home halogen doping I mentioned, which we can do by B doped boron, fluorine, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur. We can do as well. We can do the co-doping when we get the synergetic effect. To achieve that synergetic effect, synergetic is simple when we are lacking in one limitation, we can uplift by using another doping like BN, BS, FN, NP, and NS. Uh, it's also applicable and tri-heteroatoms also possible to dope it. Doping is simple technique. 3 to 5% we are adding into the intrinsic CQD. Then we can obtain whatever we need. Then here, why we are doing this doping and functionalizations to obtain the desired electrochemical performance to enhance its properties and also to make the hybrid system with maybe metal oxide or conductive polymers, it gives the synergetic effects to the carbon quantum dots, which replicable in the energy storage applications. and to improve the energy density. Energy storage application, we are very much interested to raise up this energy density. So in that mechanism, in that reform also, we can achieve by this using uh, heteroatoms doping and functionalization of CQD. It plays a role in that, and it also giving the stability and uh, stability and its dispersion is very proper. So then it's different types of doping and functionalization. First one is like NH2 functionalized with um, F fluorine doped. When green emission shows undoped CQD, it is by using hydrothermal method. Along with this one, fluorine doped, and we can obtain this orange red color. So emission takes place at 600 nanometer, and then this fluorine doped carbon quantum dots emission at 550 or 600. Excitation takes place at 480. It is more or less below 10 to 15 nanometer. Emission and excitations, the difference will be. Then solvothermal process, it's simple, like hydrothermal. Solvothermal is using some other solvent other than water. That is known as solvothermal process. It's a here we used ethanol 200 degrees Celsius for 4 hours. We can get blue emission of CQD, and 9 hours. If we are keeping for 9 hours, we can get the same thing with the green emission. So according to our desirable application, like we can do for fingerprint region detection, like that for forensic application also we can do. For that application and all, we used to go for green or yellow color, the desired emission we want. Then another thing is solvothermal 200 degrees Celsius with 4 hours, 9 hours, and with the H2SO4 solvent acid we used. So with that one, we can achieve this red emission CQD. Usually, the carbon quantum dots having this in a normal light, we can observe this watery color with some some not not much transparent, little bit. When we keep it inside this UV lamp, we can observe this luminescence property. Uh, According to this one, uh, this blue color emission shows at 400, and green around 500, then yellow, then orange, red around 600, 700. It can be differed. Why? And it also having this microwave synthesis. Why I chosen microwave synthesis? It's giving uh, usually carbon monoxide having two types of emission, like excitation dependent emission as well excitation independent emission. So if we are doing in a microwave synthesis, we can obtain this excitation dependent emission. So if I'm changing the excitation wavelength, maybe 400, 450, like that, I'm changing means I will get the emission after that. It will it will corresponds to excitation. Then and also this hydrothermal method here discussed 160 degree. In according to this one also, we can get different types of luminescence property, the CQD. Then increasing degree of surface oxidation, this homolumo will gets band gap. The band gap gets shrink. Band gap gets lower when it's having the core structure. Core structure usually having sp3 structure. The outer shell having this sp3. Uh, this hybridization, according to this hybridization, the amorphous region also will be placing there. When we are taking them, we couldn't obtain this fringes because of having this amorphous um, partition in it. Then next, very other types of functionalization. Engage 2 we can do by simple nitrogen precursor. If when we are taking this carbon precursor as well, we have to add this nitrogen precursor into it. Then with the hydrothermal or microwave, whatever our opinion, with that one we can achieve this CQD. With the doping also we can do at which place, like NH doping, like nitrogen doping, we can optimize according to the application what we are need in application. We can do pyrrolic, pyridinic, or graphitic nitrogen doping. If we are taking for solar cell, we have to do it like a graphitic nitrogen, like graphitic doping. If we are doing for electrochemical application, it's obviously pyrrolic. Then with this homolumo, we can obtain this pyrrolic and pyridinic, and the region, how it is varying, the mechanism. Then according to this one, the surface flux, how it is playing a role in that band gap, like between the states. Then it also under UV light, the different types of color. It can also be useful for LED application. While um, while making a LED setup, we can use this carbon quantum dots into the system. Then we can get the optimized the desired output of colors. Then let me go to the electrochemical part. Supercapacitor is nothing but energy storage device which has the property of storing and releasing energy with reversible absorption and desorptions of ions. Why we are focusing on supercapacitor? Because it's filling the gap between capacitor and battery. So the supercapacitor having two types, like three types. It's EDLC, which we are using simply the carbon materials, carbon-based materials. Pseudo-capacitance, if I make with CQD with metal oxide, it will become like a pseudo-capacitance. If I make symmetric and asymmetric, if I'm doing this asymmetric property, then I will get this hybrid supercapacitor. Then it shows this EDLC behavior, how it will looks like a CV graph and GCD, galvanostatic charge discharge graph. Then pseudo capacitive, how it shows this graph, we can optimize. Then Faraday, this is a hybrid system, it's like a battery system. Then let me go to next. Why in my work I just added this metal oxide into my system with carbon quantum dots. Why I chosen this one is it has a very variety of oxidation states, so it can help in the redox charge transfer. As well, this metal oxide sometimes having semiconductor property, which is having this electronic charge transport properties. As well, carbon materials having usually this carbon materials having high specific surface area, high electrical conductivity, and remarkable chemical stability. In that aspect, if I um, if I make this metal oxide into the play of carbon quantum dots, then I will achieve this pseudo capacitance as well. Um, the limitation, whenever I'm facing the limitations of metal oxide, and whenever I'm facing to overcome the drawback of carbon quantum dots, with the synergetic effect, it giving better cycle, better metallic stability, and desirable specific capacitance, which is responsible for higher energy density. And this is the mechanism according to this. We have studied in lower classes like Goy-Chapman model, Sten model, in that. So with this one electrode with electrolyte interfaces, when we are having this CQD, usually giving the property like adsorption, ions gets adsorbed, and after charging, it gets, while discharging, it gets desorbed, and then distance, the calculations and all, here the cation anion properties given. Uh, According to this one, we can make, why we are doing this one? Because to make the synergetic effects, surface area enhancement, and to tune the system to achieve the desirable and enhance the electrochemical performance and the ion accessibility. Then it's my one of my work. It's like BN, as I already mentioned, BN doped carbon quantum dots, boron, nitrogen doped carbon quantum dots. Because nitrogen giving electron transfer, it provides high electron transfer, so it will replicate in the electrochemical behavior. So incorporate it into NaO, as I mentioned, this metal oxide behavior, NaO microsphere. This is my microsphere what I have made with a solvothermal process. This is the procedure. And then with this usually this microsphere formed with this self-aggregation and intermediate mass diffusion will take place, because we are using some solvent with salt, so it will make it will flourish like a flower. Then with this one, I made two work like supercapacitor as well. This with water splitting, total water splitting, OER and HER. Uh, when I'm doing this incorporation, B and CQD separately formed, then we did with the cross-linking method. While we getting this microspheres, we incorporated the um, B and doped CQD. It's below 10 nanometers, so we can incorporate it into any porous substrate, any porous structure. So we can get the enormous amount of output. So then boron doping gives the increases the conductivity, and nitrogen also electron transfer. Because of this kinetics, transfer kinetics, NaO plays a role. Then this is one of the images like SEM image. It's a microsphere formed. Then after taking, it is a FSM image which shows the porosity. Then the flaky structure, which when we are taking TEM image, it gets while doing this sonication, it gets flaky into flakes, flogger into flakes. Then we can achieve this. Um, we can obtain this. We can match it with XRD as well. TEM images like Finch's FAD pattern. Uh, then it shows this presence of nickel, BCNO in all the flakes. Then this is the supercapacitor application, which I coated in nickel foam and absorbed for 0, 0.1 to 0.55. Then we got this GCD, specific capacitance value is 1524 we have achieved and reported. Then this is the same system with water splitting applications and a total water splitting. It gives this OER application, and HER also it giving good performance. And during oxidation, it gets nickel oxide 2 into with OH minus, it will provide la nickel hydroxide. Then during reduction, nickel hydroxide with the electron, it will become nickel oxide. So total water splitting it takes place with. Then ECSA we calculated with with surface area. Then it's like different types of method we use to cast it, like in a nickel form how we cast it and how the performance varies. And oxygen evolution reaction OER and HER result what we optimized, we changed the parameters like coating method we deferred, and concentration level we changed, and the temperature and additives. Due to this NaOH, it gives this corrosive nature, but it also enhances the uh, result output. So we used this one and optimized. Then another work is gamma Fe2O3 at CQD core shell. It's a core shell structure. Usually CQD having below 10 nanometer. This Fe2O3 it's a gamma Fe2O3. It's one of the iron oxide, which we cannot able to constrain the size. But if we are making with this microwave method into the CQD, if this one gets trapped like 5 to 6 nanometer, then outer shell become the CQD. So we can control the size of it. So it can be applicable for this sensing application, sensors applications, and we can use it for MRI. That being a magnetic particle, we can use in that one. Drug medicines also we can utilize this one. Then NF doped CQDs for fuel cell. This one also we did like with the glucose, which I took as a carbon precursor, glucose with distilled water, and it gets kept in microwave, and we got the samples, powder samples. Then after centrifuging, we collected the CQD. Then we did doping like N doping and F doping. Along with this one, we can see this structure of carbon quantum dots, which having this F doping gets this pinkish color. F doping gets this uh, it gets polarized when N gets inside this uh, nitrogen, and it also shows the fluorescence property. This is the structure of it, and we have a results like we we confirmed this NF doping with pristine CQD with the F doping, N doping, and NF simultaneously we did, and we taken this Raman spectra for analysis how the defect structure formed, um, which is varying with the pristine, and how it is far better. Like then FTARSL shows the functional group which present in it, and the bond formation between CN and CF bonding. Um, then uh, absorbance, we have taken UV vis. That one shows the um, CC bond and CO bond with how it is making uh, the band gap structure. It gets so the luminescence property emission will changes. I have already mentioned this excitation dependent emission. So this B image shows this excitation at 340 for uniform to everything, like pristine CQD. Like pristine CQD, it obtained at 395 region, and NF doping, N doping due to this electronegativity. It also plays a role in that. When doing doping with the heteroatoms, the electronegativity role will become predominant in that. So if we are taking this N doping, it gets around 410 nanometer, and the F doping, the intensity varies, but with the shift changes, the emission wavelength changes with the shifting. So F doping, NF doping, we achieved this due to this electron transfer and kinetics. We can get this NF doping in center like 420 nanometer, and NF doping like while we are doing inset box CQD, pristine CQD shows this wavelength excitation dependent emission. So if I'm varying with the 340, 330, so it gets varied with 10 nanometer, 20 nanometer varies. When compared with the NF doping, it gets confined, like it having excitation dependent emission, but with the minimal value, so it gets constrained. So these are the 10 images. Like when we are doing this uh, N doping separately, it the quasi spherical part shows, which has nothing changes with it. It correlates with the CQD. And when we doing F doping, the F dopes shows the fringes. Usually the fringes will not form. Mostly metal particles are getting these fringes, but for fluorine halogen doping itself, we can get it. Then when we are doing this NF doping simultaneously, then it gets dragging. It's the first time we reporting this one. So when we doping this NF, the quasi-spherical structure will get extended into like a graphene. It gets extendable. So it's like a rod, like needle-like structure. So this elemental mapping also shows the presence of elements, and then this XP shows this pyrodinic and pyrolytic presence, which is having this N having in what part it gets value, and then this F gets polarized. I already mentioned it gets polarized, so it become like a ionic and semi-ionic. Then COC, CO bond. Um, Then it's a DFT studies we have did for this paper, like NF doped, optimized geometry with this one HOMO and LOMO detected. Then we have calculated this one and we obtained like CQD, pristine CQD 2.52, then 2.48 gets for nitrogen and fluorine, then 1.34 we have calculated in a theoretically we have calculated for NF doping. Then it is a MEP. It's one of the DFT studies. So for electrostatic potential, we have calculated for various pristine CQD, FN, and NF. Then it is another work. I have this one also got published recently, and amine functionalized CQDs for biosensing application. This is also our work which got published. Um, then here we used this citric acid. Instead of using glucose, we can use citric acid with urea. Maybe we can use glucose also. Any carbon-prick acid with nitrogen prick acid, we can utilize this one. And microwave for 3 minutes, we can obtain this different functionalized, like NH2 functionalized carbon quantum dots by using ultrasonication method. And also I did this ammonia solution added into it, so I can get this NH2 functionalized into the system. So it's a functionalization. So I did specifically this ammonia taken. So with this one, UV shows the 226 and 275 are gives the CN bond formation, and then excitation. It's also the excitation dependent emission, and this one it's collective with the DNA because it having negative zeta potential like minus 25 having. So we just adding this NH2 with that one DNA, that is calf thymus DNA into it. So for the electrochemical sensor we used this one, and the this Raman spectra also shows the D band and G band for carbon quantum dots as well. This thionine, adenine, thionine, cytosine, guanine, that for DNA property also it showed. Um, then it got functionalized, and ctDNA is a structure and investor functionalized cell like a spherical structure. So it gets um, interacted and it become conjugate. It become a immobilized conjugate. So it become which is it coated in GCE, then it giving this pyocyanin thing. So we optimized this one and got results for that one with the electrochemical sensing. This one also got published. Then another people nowadays working for this carbon quantum dots with the boron nitrogen. I already mentioned my work. This is another work like other people. Surface functional group. Here they doing functionalization at surface level, and B and dope co-doped to carbon quantum dots, which is useful for anode lithium ion batteries by using normal hydrothermal 180 degrees 6 hours, then centrifuge for at 10,000 rpm. Maybe we can do dialysis also. If we are planning to take powder samples, centrifuge is enough. If you want to take liquid sample, we can go for the syringe or dialysis diaphragm. So here they optimized the end-doped CQD as well. Then adding this boric acid into it, then they are getting BN co-doped CQD. Then this TEM images shows the 5 nanometer formation of carbon quantum dots, which shows the fringes also with 100 XRD peak and wavelength. This UV is showing this C double bond C and CO bond, which is a pi by bond, N pi bond. Uh, and also this FTAR shows the formation of bond formation, like functional group formation, and the size varies histogram. Then they have taken cycle number, like specific capacity they have achieved like 500 milliamp milliamp hour per gram with various NCQD 0.1 BN, 0.5 and 1 BN CQD. Then they achieved this the stability and all with the different C rate they measured. And then another work of like carbon quantum dots coated with Mn3O4. Um, like I have already mentioned, this metal oxide coated with Mn3O2, O4 with enhanced performance for lithium-ion batteries, as being working in the energy storage application. I have taken this as the literature for literature survey, so I'm telling this paper. So they are taking electrochemical synthesis method. They utilized and they taken this carbon quantum dots and also adding this MnOx. Then they getting this composite Mn3O4 with CQDs. We can see the TEM image and XRD, which is having this JCPDS file which matched with this one, and it having 3 nanometer. Uh, then then TEM images, SEM images as well TEM images, which the metal oxide having this fringes formation with the CQD, which shows in a system this carbon quantum dots. Then they the CV observed with 0 to up to 3 volt. Then with that one the specific capacity like charge discharge profile they have did with achieved with uh, good voltage. Uh, then another work like carbon quantum dots regulated with electrochemical activation of uh, cobalt nickel LDH. LDH usually using for water splitting applications. Here energy storage also. Energy conversion usually people using with LDH we can do it for energy storage application also. With this one electrochemical activation we can incorporate this CQD to achieve this high activity, balance and high energy density. So with this things we can add it into this cobalt nickel LDH, this CQD also. So we can see this XRD peak and TEM images, the formation of this one. Then with that one we can see the CV and the mechanism, how it is making this while we are making the 2D structure like LDS structure, how it is performing for with the activation of CQD into the system, and it providing this um, specific capacitance value like for super capacitive application they have used, and they mentioned the result of high specific capacitance. Then then for what we in further studies like what we can do, like many people reported many details of the CQD. Even we can do for standardization, for commercialization we have to concentrate on greener synthesis method and improving size control and uniformity. increasing quantum is, because quantum is become play a role, important role in it. So then, then synthesis mechanism has to be concentrated more. Then standardization, characterization techniques, and establishing production scalability, which will provide which can be achieved by this top down and bottom up. Even some synthesis protocols only we are using. When we are doing this for commercialization, why we cannot achieve this carbon quantum dot? Because if we are taking this example, if we are taking 4 to 5 grams or 6 grams of carbon precursor, and we can able to achieve like we can take output around 1 to 2 gram alone uh, with this microwave, even hydrothermal method. But for commercialization, we need to the scalability will be very big a problem. If we are doing like a batch wise, if we get add if we make into adding into this uh, for scalability, but we cannot achieve the same property. So we have to think a way how to make a commercialize like this and all. This carbon quantum dots, usually people selling this one 10 mg around 1 lakh, more than 1 lakh. So if we plan to do and the optimization process, and if we can able to do the scalability, we will achieve um, through this one. And to our nation, we can um, provide some developments with this one. And this future direction like quantum field enhancing, we have to focus, because up to now very less quantum field only we can achieve. And integration with other technologies also we can plan, like industrial scale application, uh, lab only lab scale things only we know. So with that one, maybe for agriculture, for plant, this bioimaging, in that area we have to concentrate more, and we have to uh, develop that one. Then recent advancement in carbon quantum dots. One paper showed this one graphene quantum dots, carbon quantum dots. It's nothing different, simply the next variety, various variety. Mm. Then with that, the structure shows this B structure shows the NC when uh, number of aromatic ring, the formation, it shows like a n is equal to 1 and n is equal to 7. The formation of carbon quantum dots with n numbers. Then homolumo, gap, that and all the hybridization degree they mention. And other if we are planning to do the commercialization, microwave, it's a domestic microwave, so we cannot do um, more number of things. So we have to think like a reactor or batch wise reactor. So hydrothermal also having this pressure temperature issue. It also having optimized pressure to maintain. So maybe hydrothermal reactor, if we can able to design it for bulk production, we will achieve that area of commercialization. And then with the CQD, some electrolyte also we can develop. And with conductive polymers, we can able to make some supercapacitor and energy storage application. Then we can further think like with the flexible electronics, we can focus wearable electronics, flexibility like thin film battery, like that we can focus it on. Uh, because already we know that one concept of electrochemistry, that thin electrode compared to thin electrode, thick electrode gives um, good performance of electrochemical. So so we can concentrate in that one with thin film battery, like sputtering or some technique we have to incorporate into the system, then we can achieve with the CQD. Um, then flexible things, maybe screen printing we can plan. Um, I hope almost I covered. Thank you so much. If you have any queries, please raise up.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, for wonderful talk on carbon quantum dots. As I observed, lots of work you have done in the carbon quantum dot field, and you are also publishing in a good journal. So I hope participants enhance their knowledge through this talk. So thank you once again, ma'am. Now session is open for discussions. Please unmute yourself and ask questions with the speaker without any hesitations. So over to audience. If you have any questions, kindly ask from the speaker.
Hi, ma'am. Um, Hi, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
ma'am,
yes.
my question is, you said like you developed some NF doping and you got some quasi-spherical structure, right? So
Mm.
for this structure specifically, like what kind of advantages we can get this kind of structure, especially like mention some aspects like different in different applications and especially the energy storage part. What kind of advantage we can get throughout this specific structure.
Um, Maybe if I focus for solar cells, I need like mm, very quantum level, like very small structure is enough. So I will confine my quantum size into below 5 nanometer. So if I plan to do a battery application, so the intercalation will take place in the battery. Like in that aspect, I will do um, that kind of system, like maybe metal oxide or NMC, whatever. With that one, maybe LDH layer also okay. With that one, I will plan to do to confine the structure, to tuning the structure. For fuel cell application, I don't know. Fortunately, we got that structure, and actually, we don't know the what the mechanism happened in it. Then afterwards, only we come to know we kept it for 900 degrees Celsius for doping. So that time it gets stretched. While heating up to that, after 800, it gets melts for carbon. So it gets uh, having this carbon quantum dots inside this one with fluorine. Fluorine gets polarized in the outer structure, so it gets elongated. So recently we published that paper, and it having good remark. So maybe fuel cell application it is working, but for supercapacitor application it doesn't work. With that formation of maybe morphological also playing a vital role in the application.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. And another thing, like, can you go to the slide where different blue, green, yellow, orange, different colors we are getting? Uh,
Maybe I will change. Please check it out.
Next, not this one. Next.
This one.
No, yeah, this
This
one.
one.
So, ma'am,
Okay.
yeah, here, uh, yeah, here this different temperature difference is, I think,
Mm,
and the solvent. I think these both have different effect on the colors. So, like,
mm.
can you elaborate how it is working with wavelength? Like, how why we are getting here blue, green, and like here temperature difference is one, and I think solvent is also one. Two kind of parameters it's working. So, is it there? Like, is it known that how it's work or something?
This color changing due to the formation of nanoparticle, like size of the nanoparticle. If it is like a 3 to 4 nanometer, it obviously 2 to 3 nanometer, it obviously a blue color. So if it is go to beyond this 5 nanometer, it will become like a greenish color. So if it attains like 8 to 9 nanometer, it will obviously like a red color. So according to the size variation, the band gap will get diminished. That time it will change to the red shift. According to this one only we can optimize. So if we are taking this PL, we can optimize the wavelength. Then afterwards we will come to know with TEM images. Then we will correlate one another.
Okay, means corresponding their size, the band gap will be different, and for that reason, this kind of color shifts are there, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. It will like
Yeah.
bulk particles into breaking or smaller particles into making. Like it will get constructed in while we are doing synthesis. In that matter, sometimes it varies. Like one time result will we can the repeatability not every time we can get. So sometimes it may change according to the precursor.
Okay, 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 thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, there is one question in the chat box.
Okay, sir. I will look into.
Yeah.
How to know amount of heteroatom doping to be used to tune fluorescence. We can optimize by using XPS also. We can obtain the percentage of heteroatoms the dopant happen. Even if we are putting this 3 to 5%, usually doping it's like that 3 to 5% we will add into the system, but something will get the eradicator due to the solvent with it will not get bonded. So sometimes it will get a 2 to 3% only will get set into the system. So with that one tune fluorescence, um, yeah, fluorescence according to this benzene ring. Um, in that system, we will know this at which point, like pyridine. I talked about this N doping. According to this one, we can see at what position it gets bonded, it gets doped. So it replaces carbon and it sits in that place. So we can with the literature survey also we can analyze that fluorescence property, and it's obviously size matters. And I'm getting how can I know the concentration or QD is present in the solution? You can take this UV lamp. With that help of UV lamp, you can uh, analyze the emissions. Luminescence will be shown in that. Otherwise, you can take with the PL also. For CNT and all, it will not show any PL. So in that matters, you can match it up. It is quantum dots or not. You can verify. And also, how to get powder form? It's simple. It will be in a liquid state. But if I want the powder format, so I will do. I will keep for some time oven. Then the residual become downside. It gets precipitated. After that, I will do centrifuge. Then that time centrifuging, while doing centrifuge we can get obtain this residual part, and we will throw that solution. So with that residue we can do oven dry, then we will collect the powder from output. Core shell structure, it's a TEM. We can analyze by TEM image. That is the only thing we can do. And also, if it is quantum dots, it's a shell. Outer shell means we can analyze the luminescence. If it go into the cell, like it will become a core. Maybe I did like Fe2 particle as a Fe2 as a core and carbon quantum dots as a shell. If it is vice versa, it will not show luminescence. That also we can analyze. And also we can take a TEM image will show very deliberately. And pyrolysis of quantum dots at 900 degree Celsius will increase the size and shape of quantum dots, right? No, we did 900 degrees Celsius for pyrolysis because of doping. We need to make nitrogen as well this fluorine to go inside the carbon structure. That's why we did up to 900 because 800 is the carbon temperature up to that one. So we tried with 900. So and also we got that uh, new image morphology changes. Not for size shape we didn't do. Simply, fortunately, we got that size. That's all. Fluorescent materials will have large band gap. Materials for it. Like we can tune it according to the property. Like solar cell and all, we need um, uh, like below 2 nanometer. Like band gap, we can change the electron volt. We can change it out according to the application. We can change electrochemical application. If it is like sensing application, we can go with higher. Short band gap, you are correct. Your question is correct, but short band gap, there one I couldn't remember now, but something is there. One paper, maybe I will put it in chat box. Like one paper shows like supercapacitor electrochemical behavior will change according to the band gap. Something it is inversely proportional to one. Like if it is getting lower, it will become higher. So we can change it out. No problem. The tuning property we have. So with the doping or some other functionalization, we can make it. And with the dialysis process, we cannot take this powdered quantum dots. We have to keep it in the oven. Maybe example, if I take a glucose with the water, distilled water or some other solvents, um, I will keep it for microwave synthesis. That time it gets transparent color to yellowish, pale yellowish color. Then pale yellowish to next color, like brownish color, dark brown, next to next. Then that phase of time, um, that with that one also the luminescence property will form, but the particle maybe the size will be different. So I will keep it for extra more time with microwave, or else I will keep into this oven for drying. For like with some extra solvent I can keep inside. It will get pyrolysis. Pyrolysis. It's like it's a dry uh, flaky structure we can see. After that, we have to break it into pieces. Then we have to add a water or some solvents. Then we can do centrifuge. Maybe overnight we can keep it. Then afterwards, we are taking, we will get a uh, powder output. Like after centrifuge, we have to keep it for oven to dry to eradicate the solvent. Then we have to grind it properly with uniform. Then we will get a correct format of powder. With the dialysis, we cannot get obtained powder sample simply by centrifuge method. Is it possible to get the quantum dots? Graphene oxide also we can do. Like graphene quantum dots is different, carbon quantum dots is different. Like graphene having maybe carbon sometimes having amorphous structure, but graphene will not. Graphene oxide, um, like it's a very big process to do because a hummus method and all will come to a play. So hummus method it's difficult to do. People used to say so. I didn't try that one. Maybe in future will let me see. No, is it possible to dope the transition metal atoms on carbon quantum dots? But so many papers are available with that transition metal atoms doped. But when we compare to this ionic radius, when we consider this ionic radius of the metal, uh, it doesn't. We cannot do. But papers reporting still with metal oxide atoms like metal transition metal atoms, we doping. Doping we cannot do. Maybe we can make it as a composite, or like Mn3O4 I discussed with that crystal structure, two triangle crystal structure. With that one, we can make a composite. Maybe somewhere it can get sticked, but we cannot do that one. Then thank you. Any other question extra?
Yeah,
Is there any?
thank you, Sujatha ma'am, for answering all the questions of the participants in a very well manner. We are very grateful to have you. So now I would like to request you all to kindly unmute the camera for a group photo. Yeah, all are requested to unmute the camera for a group photo. Nikhil, kindly take a screenshot. Nikhil, have you done this? Your
I'm
mic
taking,
is,
sir.
yeah, okay, please take.
Done, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, all participants. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity you have given, sir. It's a great pleasure for me. Thank you so much. It's my first meeting I have given the talk. It's the next milestone for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome, ma'am. So now the session has been closed. So you can left the meeting. Recording will be available on our EIP YouTube channel. So if you are interested, you can explore from there. Thank you once again. Thank you, Nikhil. Now you can stop the record. Yeah, thank you so much.